So as Düsseldorf catches its breath after the departure of the four-time European Tour winner this year, Michael van Gerwen, we have the second semi-final for you. James Wade, seeded 2 here at the Maritime Hotel, up against Robert Thornton, the conqueror of Jelle Claassen in the quarter-finals. Wade also ending the hopes of a Dutchman, Vincent van der Voort, winning his last 8 match by 6 legs to 3. 3-1 down in that one, but he bounced back really well. And the machine is more than living up to his nickname so far. Wade very much on course for a second European Tour title after victory in Gibraltar last year. For Thornton, well, he's on the verge of his first ever European Tour final. Many will say it's long overdue. The player consistently ranked in the top 10 in the world. His best run this year, prior to Düsseldorf, quarter-finals in both Hildesheim and in Munich. As a hush descends on the auditorium here, both players, I'm sure, taking plenty of encouragements from what we've witnessed in the first semi-final. No disrespect to Kim Huybrechts, of course, but it's suddenly created a big opportunity for both these players. £5,000 guaranteed to these two anyway, but the money doesn't really matter or come into it when there are titles at stake. Thornton with the advantage of throwing first.
21.
Sorry, Rob, that's the third time on the trot that Michael van Gerwen hasn't won a tournament. So, you know, we did wonder if when Benito van der Pas beat him in the other European event, whether that would just put him on the back foot a little bit. You know, perhaps it has. You know, you get that invincibility where people are scared of you, and even when you're playing bad, you seem to grind results out. But now it's starting to turn a little bit.
118.
Well, Bob Thornton with the first maximum of the match. Yeah. There is an argument to say that now Van Gerwen appears to have a couple of chinks in his armour. They've been exposed, and people will look to exploit that.
Game shot on the first leg.
Well, it's not a bad 11 dart leg start to this semi-final for Robert Thornton. And I believe that it was an 11 dart leg that he won the first leg in the quarterfinals with.
Yeah, he was in a good position against Claassen. He led by 4 legs to 1 in that one. Claassen hit back to level, but Thornton finished him off.
81.
I did ask Robert about the 138, and he said that when he went for that, which cost him that leg, that could have cost him the match.
59.
He said, yeah, perhaps I shouldn't have gone for it, but the treble 20 looks so good. He said, oh, I thought double 9, I can hit any double anyway. As he hits another 180.
180.
Well, Wade here is struggling.
$95. $96. Robert, you require 145.
Well, this is a scratchy second leg from both players' points of view. Robert Thornton in a good position to break the Wade throw, especially after that visit. He's left with double top, so work here for Wade to do. But as we said, Wade did find himself in a spot of bother against Van der Voort early on, but fought back to win by 6 legs to 3.
Robert, you require 40.
So a good chance here for Thornton to break Wade's throw and open up a 2-leg lead, and he duly does. He looks the business at the moment, Robert Thornton, oozing confidence after that win.
Well, 11-13 are the 2 winning legs for Robert Thornton, so it looks like he's up for business.
140.
talking about checkouts, just quickly, I had a word with Alan Norris as well about the 145, the way he goes with the 15s first of all. I understand it's all personal preference, and he said he just goes that way all the time, which we had a nice little chat that went into about another 20 other combinations. But
and after all that, you decided you were right, as Brian Clough said.
No, I weren't right. It's just, as I say, personal preference for everybody.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't advise the youngsters in the game to go that way.
100.
Treble 20, you practice on all day. It's the easiest treble to hit.
Well, Wade started his campaign here in Düsseldorf with a 6-0 win over Dirk van Dijvenbode. 6-4 against Webster, 6-3 against Van der Voort. Strange as well when you look at Thornton's progression. I mean, he was lucky to get through his first match against Dimitri Vandenberg. He was 4-2 down in that. Vandenberg had his chances to finish him off. And they said, you know, his day will come on the evidence of what he's done this weekend. Vandenberg, he looks a very, very promising player. But, you know, having survived that big, big scare, he suddenly develops a lot of confidence, and he's developing even more confidence here. Double 13 taken out for a 3-0 lead.
Sometimes when you have a real tough first game and come through a scrape, well, one of the few 180s that James Wade's hit, it kind of gives you that extra little bit of oomph, a little bit of luck on your shoulder. I mean, these first three legs are 11, 13, 12 for Robert Thornton. I mean, that's exceptional throwing. Averages absolutely unbelievable.
100.
Well, there we have it, 11, 13, 12. And he's in there again.
140.
Yeah, the average of 120, and it's creeping up now, 126. That's astonishing. By the way, Hybrex, when his victory over Van Gerwen, an average of 94 and no 180s, so it just shows you how limited his approach was and how poor Van Gerwen was comparatively.
Well, we did say this afternoon before we started the last 16 that Michael has got to up his game because he hasn't actually played that well here this weekend. Got away with the first couple and, you know, well, just needed to up it and didn't up it.
100.
It's ruthless, it's brutal, and it's very, very devastating from Robert Thornton. 170 brings him down to a tops finish.
Is that a 7?
He's found the 7, yeah, it's just crept in. Oh, that's good.
You could see Robert Thornton was the first one to know that was in a 7. You could see that little bit of shoulder push.
But it's almost like Thornton forced the error there with that 170. Just cast that shadow of doubt over James Wade.
It
matters not, though. He was going round the board there, but my word, Robert Thornton looks the business here.
Game on.
Yeah, not very often you see James Wade miss a big number. His mistakes are as little as Phil Taylor. But that one mistake has really cost him getting back in the game. And you have to say, this is Robert Thornton at his very best. Absolutely lethal darts he's throwing here. I mean, that was a 15-dart leg. But the 13th dart was at the double.
Yeah. And we saw signs of this against Whitlock as well from Thornton. It was level until the 5th leg. He had a break in the 5th leg for 3-2, and from that moment on, he just never looked back. He just rattled them off. And Whitlock had very few answers. And some people will say, many will say, it's long overdue this for Thornton as well. He's never reached a European final before. A very capable player, consistently in the world's top 10 for some time. And here he is now on the verge of a final appearance in Düsseldorf. Made the quarters in Hildesheim and in Munich earlier this year.
Yeah, scruffy scoring from James Wade is not going to do anything against Robert Thornton when he's in this mode. And he's in there again. He's going to come down for the 19s.
139.
Again, he set the shot up after 12 darts.
Mentioned it before as well about Wade when he looks to be in some sort of rhythm and in some sort of, some sort of groove. He's looking good, and then suddenly he has a really bad result. It happened to him earlier this year when he suffered a 6-0 defeat by Adrian Lewis. He might have been citing an illness that weekend anyway, but just when you expect big things of James Wade, he often is found wanting, and he's been found wanting here. Outside chance of a break, though, for Wade. Needs something just to get him going.
39.
Mind you, to be quite honest, in the first 4 legs of Robert Thornton, he couldn't do a lot about. He couldn't have broken his throw unless he's going to talk about 9 dart legs.
15.
There's the chink in the armour that James Wade needed.
58.
Yeah, it's the first leg in which he's needed more than 15 darts, Robert Thornton, by the way. Tops, though, for Wade, and he's on the scoreboard at long last. Question is it too little, too late for him?
Game on.
It's 1 break back, he needs another. In fact, he'll need 2.
98.
With Thornton having thrown first. Well, more chinks in the armour here for Thornton.
68. 58.
It's filled up beautifully for Thornton now. 3rd 180 of the match for Thornton. Now James Wade looking to respond with his 2nd 180 of the match. My, oh my, he needed that.
Yes, he did. Well, that's a hat-trick of 180s. And again, Thornton has piled the pressure on James Wade.
65.
Wade the first to crack.
73.
Although he's left himself a ton finish. Thornton, oh, well, that's slightly scuppered him.
Game
But he recovers really well.
Another 12 dart leg from Robert Thornton, and that was against the throw. And again, James Wade didn't do a great deal wrong. But 2 180s back to back from Thornton has put him in a position where he needs 1 more leg to make his first European final. And he's got a little bit of a limp there, Robert. There we have it. I mean, that's pretty tidy, isn't it? We talked about Terry Jenkins' run of
15
legs.
darts,
Yes.
Yeah. Very consistent, but that's exemplary stuff, especially in a semi-final.
140.
That's 12 darts under what we called under par. 12 darts under level 15s, which is incredible. And look at the front 9. Look at the overall average. That's up there, as good as you're ever going to see.
Well, not many people would have forecast a Thornton Hybrex final, but that's what we could well have, barring an incredible fight back from James Wade, who needs to win 5 legs on the spin to book his place in the big one later tonight.
140. Robert, you require 121.
So here we go. Treble 17 would leave the bull, but he's missed it anyway. He will return with Wade on 180.
97.
And again, after 12 darts, Robert Thornton requires a double. This has
100.
been
Robert, you
clinical
require 24.
Performance, excellent performance from Robert Thornton.
Game shot.
Doesn't get much better, Rob, does it?
Well, typically it's a 13 dart leg for Robert Thornton. That sums up what has been a very, very effective and a very eye-catching performance in the semi-finals. James Wade simply never got involved in that. He was 4-0 down in the blink of an eye. 11 dart legs starting things off. That set the tone in this semi-final. An average of almost 112 as well. There was a slight flurry from Wade late on when he reduced the arrears to 4-1. But Robert Thornton bounced back in style. A 12 dart leg and then a 13 dart leg. And he is through to his first ever European Tour final, a terrific achievement for him. And standing in the way of Thornton and a first ever European Tour title is Kim Huybrechts. The number 11 seed takes on the number 13 seed in around about 15 minutes time. Stick with us here on the European Darts Open. We'll bring you the final in June.